Welcome to the Event Connection, where we explore the stories, trends, and unforgettable moments that are shaping our industry. We'll uncover the human side of events and celebrate the power of engagement and connection, all while having a little fun. This podcast is produced by PC Nametag.
I'm Ethan West. If you don't know me, I am the marketing intern here at PC Nametag. I thought I'd start just explaining a little bit about myself. I'm a journalism student here at Madison, and I'm also studying sports communication. Just love the world of sports. I'm looking to find myself in a career in that industry at some point. I'm also a part-time employee at Forward Madison FC, and I thought that'd be a perfect way to segue into introducing our guest here. So to start, would you like to introduce yourself, your role, and then what you do at Forward Madison?
Absolutely, yeah. My name is Kyler Donovan. I'm the general manager of Forward Madison FC, the professional soccer team here at Madison. We play at Breese Stevens Field. Right now, my role includes just overseeing the day-to-day management of the business side of the club, helping out with sponsorship, partnership, marketing, ticketing stuff, really making sure that operation is going smoothly.
Sweet. Well, you're our first guest from the world of sports,
Awesome.
So I'm excited to get a few questions asked here. First, I'd like to start with an easy one just to get started. What do you love most about Madison and Breese Stevens Field that makes it the perfect destination for a sports event?
Yeah, I think Breese is really unique in the fact that it's 99 years old this year. So it's turning 100 next year. It's pretty historic, as you can tell from all the bricks. And so it creates this unique atmosphere and environment for people to enjoy the game. We've got a lot of different options within the stadium where you're 10, 15 yards away from the field of play. Mm-hmm. That's something really unique that I don't think you get to see in a lot of different places in the US. And so to be that close to the action is really unique, and it creates kind of this atmosphere where people are really involved in the game and what's happening on the field, and the players get to kind of feed off that energy from the fans. I think you only see that in a couple of different places. And especially in third division soccer, I think that's what it's all about. It's that relationship between the fans and the players and what's happening. And so to be that close and that involved with everything, there's not really a bad spot in the stadium to watch the game. And to be that involved is super unique. And we're grateful enough and thankful that we have fantastic supporters who are allowed every game, and they kind of build that environment. But the stadium really kind of helps foster that.
Sweet. Do you guys have anything fun planned for 100 year?
We're working through that this year, so expect some fun events, kind of some throwbacks to things that have happened in the past at Breese. It's been such a storied venue with baseball and monster truck derbies and a lot of different stuff and circuses. Mm-hmm. And so to be able to bring at least a small snippet of that back to the stadium has been really fun.
Sounds awesome. And then I kind of want to jump into game day logistics and just fan experience. I want you to walk us through a game day from the logistical standpoint, just some milestones and potential points of failure that you guys plan for.
Of course, yeah. Game days are really unique in kind of how we prep and run those. Contrary to maybe your major league sports teams, your MLS, your NBAs, our front office staff is actually the ones who come out and prep the stadium for the most part, each game day. And so we're out there earlier on in the day, whether it be 10 o'clock, 11, 12, 1, we're out there, wiping seats, setting chairs. And so that's a unique experience, and that creates some bonding between the front office staff too. That's fun. But we're out there, they're prepping. And so a lot of that is what can we do before that actual Saturday or that Wednesday, Thursday game, to make that day easier. Cause there's a lot of moving parts on a game day. And so to kind of limit a lot of the physical work that you're doing is important. And so we usually go out Friday. If it's a Saturday game, we'll go out Friday afternoon before we leave the office. We'll set all the hospitality areas, we'll flip whatever signage we need. We'll get our video board prep. We'll do a lot of the things that don't need to happen on a game day to try to kind of limit those pain points for us. So it's all about prep. Recently we've started to try have some planning meetings too, so that we're working through what does our halftime look like, so that we're not stressed out, 5 minutes before halftime, like, oh crap, we don't have anybody for this. And so it's a lot of planning and prep early on what you can, but it's a lot of thinking on your feet too, and stuff's going to come up. It's going to rain unexpectedly an hour before kickoff. So everybody's out there popping tents, wiping down seats, stuff like that. As far as milestones for us, I think there's a couple of big pieces in setup, and one is that just physical labor side where you're moving chairs, setting that. So the first kind of milestone is, are all our areas set? So are they clean? Then we're good. Then on my end, working somewhat on the partnership side with a couple other people, is all our signage set, our giveaways set. We do a lot of different theme nights. And so making sure that our giveaway item for that is set, our ticket pack promo item is set for that, and guest services. And so there's a couple of big group tasks that we all work collaboratively on, but then we all have kind of our individual things too that are smaller milestones for us as we go. But really that main setup of the hospitality areas, and then signage, making sure all the food and beverage spaces are set too. There's kind of just those big pieces for us.
Right. Seems like it's very like habitual and routine.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that happen each game that we kind of fall into that routine on, which is good and bad. But then there's also the one-offs for each game. Like we were talking about this weekend, we have Amon Green out, so we'll have to set up a specific area for him for that, what that VIP line looks like, what the meet and greet line looks like.
Right.
That's not something that we'll do every game, but it's a one-off for this one. So that'll be its own separate little milestone piece for that as well. Yeah,
that's sweet. You kind of get a little bit of everything then.
Yeah.
When you have like you said, one-off events.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not everybody knows kind of what goes into a game day until you're kind of in the thick of it. And so, like we said, Breese is a historic venue. It's also got a lot of seagulls. And so we're out there cleaning up, and that's not something that you would necessarily think about when you're joining a sports marketing job. Like, I'm going to be out there on a Saturday before a 13, 14 hour day wiping poop off a chair. Like, that's not something that everybody thinks about. But it's a unique job that, it has some interesting elements to it, but it's really rewarding. And to kind of see that all cultivate at 7 o'clock or 5 or 6, and you see 4,000 people in the stadium, it's really cool, and it's a really rewarding experience.
Sweet. And then I wanted to ask, how do you create an engaging experience that goes before and beyond the 90 minutes of gameplay?
Yeah, of course. This is something we kind of took to heart too. Our first 2 years, we didn't do super well with families. In that crowd, we played at 7 o'clock every night. It was tough for bedtimes. And if you've got a 5, 6, 7-year-old kid, it's hard to keep them paying attention to the game for 90 minutes. And so we've built out some more affordable options for that. But then we've also added a face painter, a balloon artist, a petting zoo, and this giant inflatable flamingo slide to all our games that I'm sure you've seen. And so kind of building out the activities outside of what's happening on the pitch. We've been able to kind of create a safe space for kids and families to be. They know where their kids are. The parents can enjoy the game, but their kids are going and getting their face painted or getting an inflatable balloon, an animal or something like that. And so try to create other touch points for fans and for families to be able to do that. Another way that we've done that is we'll do a theme night for pretty much every game during the season. And so trying to tie in fun ways to get fans engaged with that. Our last game was Ogre Night. And so we had people dress up in their favorite Shrek costumes. We had a guy dressed up like Shrek do the crossbar challenge at halftime. And try to find some fun, witty ways to kind of tie that into our games. We don't really want that minor league baseball feel to us, but we do want to create that fun experience for fans to, kind of bring in their own personality to the stadium and to the game.
I kind of had a question about that, just with community like engagement with like you said, Ogre Night and stuff like that. So how do you make sure that you can like involve sponsorships and like partnership development into that without it feeling too forced, but well integrated? That's
a great question. Yeah, we're fortunate enough to have some really great sponsors who kind of understand that, and they want to be a part of that. They know like if we're going to do something, it's got to work with the fans, and that's going to create that lasting experience. I'd say the best example I have from that is we did May the Forward Be With You nights. And Dairyland, one of it's our front of kit sponsor. They supplied a bunch of light swords for the stadium. Once it got dark outside, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I mean, we had 4,000 light swords distributed to everybody as part of this night. And the flock or supporters group, they all had them going in line with their chants, waving them around, and it kind of created this atmosphere where the whole stadium got involved with them too. And so it built that tie between our supporters group and a family sitting in section 102 that kind of embodied the theme night that we were doing, but also kind of showcased our supporters group and got everybody in the stadium involved. And so I think it's super important to naturally tie in your sponsors and partners and find creative ways to kind of highlight their brand, but also tie it into kind of whatever theme or promotion you're doing. And remember that they're partnering with you because they like your brand. We do a good job in that space, and we like to think that we can use our brand to elevate their brand too.
Right.
And vice versa. There's things that our partners do that we really appreciate, and it's good for us to be a part of. And so to kind of find that balance between the two is super important. And that's how you make the most impactful partnerships as well. Is that's what people are going to remember, and that's what's important.
Mm-hmm. One thing I really like is that like theme nights, I feel like a forward game's different every single time.
Yeah.
You would think like you guys have a certain amount of games over like a schedule that you would get bored going to multiple games, but it seems like there's a returning fan base all the time just because it's always different and so much more fun. Like how do you, I would say like what key skills and elements do you guys need to have to be able to kind of pivot each game to be able to accommodate for like a different theme?
Yeah. And my coworker Taylor will say that it's like throwing 19 different parties
Right.
throughout the season, which I think is spot on. You're kind of throwing a whole nother event on top of a soccer game as well when you're doing these theme nights, if you're doing them well. I'd say the most important thing is one, the planning of it, understanding kind of what your fans and what your consumers react to, but then also acting on your feet when maybe something isn't working or like we need to push something. And so we'll meet right when the season wraps up and kind of think about which theme nights this year went well, which are kind of staples. Like we'll do our Bark in the Park night. We'll do a Forward Be With You type night every year because those do really well and people really enjoy getting into them. You then have some ones that you take a bet on and you never quite know if they're going to work or not. And so having the kind of the planning and understanding to build those out so that you're not rushed as last minute as you can be, but knowing that that's going to happen. Like we're pivoting a couple of days out on some packs that we're doing to try and build the theme, and that's okay. It can be a little bit stressful and trying to figure out what it is. And of course we always want to plan months in advance, but that's just not realistic with kind of how our business operates, And so I'd say, again, planning when you can, but being ready to kind of act on your feet and figuring out ways to kind of engage your fans with it. And especially when you're doing sports marketing, the main thing for you is how do we get people into the stadium? And so understanding kind of what theme night is going to move those tickets is super important. And so if we have a theme night that might only engage 50 to 100 people, is that worth the time and effort that it takes to throw that mini party for 4,000 people? And so finding ones that work and ones that make sense and can kind of leverage that into ticket sales and getting people into the stadium is super important.
Yeah. How far forward do you guys typically plan for those theme nights? Like, is there a brainstorming process?
Yeah. We'll meet in September for kind of our planning meetings for next year, and we'll go over some theme nights. We have to wait kind of for our schedule too to see if any national holidays or days line up with certain games, and that will tweak kind of our schedule. But we always have kind of a bank of 10, 15, 20 different theme nights that we think might be worth doing. And so we'll plan those out. Hopefully we have those by December, January, and then it's kind of plug and play with where we want to put them. There's always 2 or 3 where we got to pivot or we got to change. And so we'll plan what we can, in December and January, but come July, come August, we're usually pivoting 1 or 2. Maybe not total concepts, but ideas.
Okay, gotcha. Forward Madison is very famous for like you guys' creative kits, and it seems to be a core part of the team identity. I wanted to ask how you guys tie that into like broader experiences, just being on that like idea of theme nights. I feel like a lot of it comes into your merchandising.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm fortunate enough where I don't have to play a big hand in the actual design of those kits. I don't think we'd be where we were if I was. We have a really fantastic team that's done that over the years, and a super good relationship with Hummel, our kit provider too, to work with some of their designers on these kits. And so we've been super fortunate to kind of have the freedom and flexibility to explore new ideas. As far as tying it into kind of our theme nights and our activations, I'd say this year the biggest version of that, and this is another example of where we kind of quick pivoted on one of our theme nights, was July 12th was it was going to be, I think it was like New Jersey night or something. And we then kind of had this idea for a kit with the Wisconsin tartan Scottish feel. I don't know if you've seen that one, but we pivoted that theme night into a Scottish night. And so we brought in some ticket packs with food related to Scotland, did a promo scarf with our kits, brought in the pipes and drums, and then a Scottish dance group as well to try to build out the night a bit. But then it was all tied into kind of this release of our alternate kit for the year. And so that was something where, again, even outside the field with our merchandise, it works when you tie something into kind of a bigger experience, and to combine those things was super successful. And that kit's done really well. And it's had some traction online as well with the look of it, because it is different. They've got full plaid shorts that the guys wear, almost like a kilt. And so, to kind of have that freedom and flexibility to be unique and kind of tie that into, the Madison and Wisconsin community and their heritage and kind of what that looks like with some of our kits has been super cool. As far as other kind of tie-ins with our merchandise, we'll always do a couple of community pieces, and that's usually a pre-match top. We'll do a handful of those throughout the year. Last year we did a mental health awareness pre-match top, and we always try to tie in some sort of fundraising effort awesome. For that one. And so that one went to NAMI, the Wisconsin chapter of NAMI. And that was kind of a reflection kit. It said keep moving forward, but it was backwards. So when you looked at it in the mirror, you could see it.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we try to tie in these different community pieces, and also connecting with some local artists as well for those pieces is super important to kind of highlight their work and highlight kind of their impact in the Madison community has been really awesome. We're working currently on a Hispanic Heritage Month top as well, with a local artist that looks super cool. I won't spoil anything, but it is kind of out there and really unique, and I'm excited for that one to come out. And so being able to kind of highlight different artists and different community outlets, I think is super important, especially in soccer. Like, soccer is such a community focused sport that your jerseys are more than just kind of what the guys are going to wear. It's really a storytelling element to kind of the club's identity, but then also the community and the towns and the state's identity as well, and those people that live there.
That's one thing I love about Forward. Just as a college student, having a soccer team here is like really important, because I feel like a lot of people value like the football and basketball of like a college town, but being able to come and see a soccer game where it is very like community spirited, and you see people from like not just college students, but people from all over Madison coming and watching is like super important. Yeah, no, it's been great. We've been trying to figure out how to get more college students out to game and kind of experience it. We know it's not I know it's easy to commute in Madison, but it's not the most accessible stadium to get to for them. And so trying to figure out ways to get them more involved and just introduce them to kind of what Madison's about. I think as someone coming from, Madison gets a lot of different students. And so if someone coming from the East or West Coast where they don't know much about the city, I think it's a really good way to kind of dive in and learn a bit more, not just on the sports side or on the soccer side, but kind of understand what Madison's about. I wanted to ask, what is like a great example of like a sponsorship activation or like something that you had like an event at a game that did really well, and then just like an insight that you would give for other event organizers from that experience? Yeah, of course. It's something that we're looking more into, as well as what can we be doing pre-match and maybe post-match to get people to the actual game itself. A few things that we've done this year is pre-match. I just ran it 2 weeks ago. We did a youth 7v7 tournament. That was presented by True Stage, one of our sponsors. And that went really well. So we had about 200 kids, I'd say, roughly, take part in the tournaments. We gave all of the kids free tickets, and then opened up a portal for parents if they wanted to come to the game too. And so that was a really good way to not only drive kind of ticket sales to the game, but also get those kids out to the game as well. When they had just played Saturday, they'd go to the game Saturday night and then come back and play Sunday. And so it's cool for them to play at Breese. It's a cool stadium to be at. And so to be able to play on a professional team's field and have a tournament there is really unique. And so that was something we did at the beginning of August that did really well, both on the tournament side, but also getting people to games. Post game this year, we tried a fireworks show for the first time. Awesome. And that was really fun. There's always some hiccups when you're doing something for the first time, logistically. And so I think we learned a lot in kind of how to smooth that transition between game and the flip to fireworks, because it took about an hour and a half for the sun to go down, which was a little bit of a wait, but the crew also needs about an hour to set up,
get everybody out of the flock end, because that's where the fireworks are going off,
Right.
and set those up, and then kind of create your safety boundaries as well. And so we learned some stuff there, but that was one of our best performing games as well, was having that post-match fireworks show. And so
Sweet.
I think, tying in other events, and it doesn't have to be a big event per se, but tying in some other experience to the game as well to kind of give folks that added, value or benefit or reason to come is super important. And so, finding what works is important. And we've found, tournaments, fireworks, live music, people like that. And so, being able to tie that in when you can, is huge. And, this Saturday, actually, we're doing a old fashioned and sausage festival. And so,
Very
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Very Wisconsin. Yeah. It's something that our stadium team has been trying to do for a while. And so, we're kind of dry running it, pregame, for us as well. And so, that'll be tasting a bunch of old fashions from Wollersheim, one of our partners, and then trying a bunch of brats and sausages before the game. Can't go wrong. It'll be a good time. But having some fun with the marketing on that, and trying to get people who maybe they don't care about soccer at all, but they want to come try some old fashions. Can we get even half of those people to stick around for the game afterwards? And hopefully those are new fans that we're creating.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like that, you're able to get different audiences through different like little methods like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny that you mentioned that youth sports thing. 'Cause I remember coming into work before that game and being like, "Oh, this is so sweet. I would love to like have done that as a kid."
Yeah,
and I totally would have been nagging my parents to be like, "Hey, we need to go to a Forward game after that."
It's a lot of fun. We're a smaller staff, and so it does create. It's kind of finding that balance between, the time and energy of your staff versus kind of the benefits and pros to hosting an event like that. It's a lot of work to get it off the ground. Once you kind of get those tournaments up and running, they kind of run themselves.
Yeah.
But things like that create long hours for your staff, and it can be a bit draining. I needed a little bit of a break after it, and so it's finding that balance. But some of these events are really cool to be a part of, and to kind of look at it while the event's going on. I always say it's super important to take a little bit of time to understand kind of what you're putting on and see the people enjoying it. It's super helpful. Like I said, with the Forward games, to be able to see 4,000 people coming to a game, it's super rewarding. But to see 200 kids enjoying a tournament on the field beforehand, that's super rewarding in its own way as well. And that's one of the biggest things to putting on events is making sure people have a good time.
Yeah. I wanted to ask something more like industry insight.
Yeah.
I was just curious about what advice you'd give to an event planner that's looking more to break into like sports event management.
Yeah, good question. I'd say overall too in the sports field, it's really just about getting involved. I started in the team store for Forwards my senior year of high school when the team first started, and so it's just finding ways to get involved. It might not be the coolest thing you've ever done, but to kind of see how those events go is super important, and especially on the event side, like people are always looking for help.
Yeah.
And so reaching out to people and seeing, hey, can I come in and just job shadow you for 2 hours, help you with what you need? I think just kind of getting that experience and building those relationships is super important. We've started a Gameday internship program this year where students maybe don't have the time to commit to like a full season, but they want to come in for games and just kind of see what happens. Game days are always the most chaotic. It's always the most interesting. And so to kind of see the back end of that, we hope is valuable and is interesting for people to see. And you may not be doing the most glorious stuff,
Right.
to start, but like
Wiping down seagull poop.
Well, yeah, and I'll never ask someone to do something that I haven't done in the
Right.
past or wouldn't do, but to kind of see, hey, is this something I actually want to do? Because
Sure.
sports, it's great to say you want to work in sports, but to actually go see what it looks like, there's a lot of things people don't know, and so I think it's super important to people, for people to actually see what that looks like. So we put up, I don't know the actual number, but it's a ton of different seat backs. We lug them up and down the steps into the garage and back. And I always tell people, I'm like, hey, if you can do this with a smile on your face and you can get through this, like you can work in sports.
Right.
Like this is kind of exemplifies the grind of some things that after a 12, 13-hour day, can you go lug these seats down and put them away? And if you can do that, like you're fine. You'll get through working in sports and you'll enjoy all the other elements of doing it. And so to kind of get back to your question, it's really just getting involved and starting to build those relationships. I was fortunate enough to form some really good relationships with my then bosses to kind of help me keep working into what I wanted to get into. And that was super beneficial for me. And so just getting involved in building those relationships is really important.
Awesome. Sweet. And then I was curious, do you have like a particular trend or anything that you might think will expand coming in the future in sports events?
Yeah. I think overall we're seeing a larger utilization of data within kind of sports as a whole, both on the event side, but really on the marketing side too, and kind of understanding how people best, consume your marketing, consume your events. Can we be a bit more targeted with what we're actually offering people? If someone's coming to our games buying our family special to bring their kids to a game, it doesn't make any sense for us to be pitching a field suite to them or pitching, beer garden tickets to them even. And so being able to be more targeted with your data, I think is super important. I think for a club with, lower staff size, lower, maybe smaller resources than your MLS, your NBA teams, it's going to be a bit difficult to access that at the same level, but there's still things that we can be doing to kind of help with that. I think also something that's changing is people are a lot more conscientious of their time as well. And so figuring out how to best, entertain folks. We talked about the 7v7 tournament, the Old Fashioned Festival and the fireworks and stuff like that. They're only going to go if it's going to be intriguing and interesting to them. And so we kind of have to be more, targeted and dedicated with our events that we're doing to make sure that this is something people are going to want to go spend 7 hours at. With the tournaments, people are there at 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. And so to take someone's 12 hours of their time during the day, that's going to take a lot. And so you got to make sure it's the right events and kind of it's entertaining enough to keep them there and keep them wanting to come. Because people they're conscious of their time. They don't want to go and waste it. We've started to see that a bit.
Right. And you just like talking about data, like something I was thinking about was like the growing use of like a lot of people are talking about AI and like the consumption of technology and stuff. I was just thinking about how maybe like gamification will change at games with like Jumbotron quizzes and obviously I think it's the Los Angeles Clippers are doing stuff with like they can hear how loud people are in the stadium and then they will get a prize for being the loudest fan. So I think it'll be really interesting to see if maybe that'll end up changing things.
Yeah, it's hard to tell kind of where it's going. I don't think anybody can really predict what's going to happen with it, but I think for those that are using it well, it's helping them. I think there's always that give and take for what you should actually use it for.
Right.
But I think those who kind of understand it and understand its capabilities, understand its shortfalls, they're going to be the ones that really thrive with using it.
Oh yeah, I guess you kind of jumped on this earlier, but just as an event planner and in sports industry, I was really curious, like, what is your number one routine for every event? Because you were explaining earlier about getting set up early and like cleaning things up. What do you think is your tried and true habit just to make sure like you're in game mode?
I usually try to get to the stadium a bit earlier, and then I'll usually have stuff that's on my individual list. I'll try to get that done. And so for me, that's going to make sure our press box is all set with the video board and that we're all set with our sponsor stuff that we've got for the night. Double checking with my coworkers too, to make sure that they don't need anything from me. And then really once we get out there to start wiping down seats and tables, like that's, I'm kind of just in grind mode for 4 or 5 hours. To get going. I think, like we said, we have kind of those things that repeat every game. And so I usually try to get through those first and leave myself, an hour or two to get done what I need to get done personally. It's usually regardless of how much time you give yourself, it's usually a rush to the finish line before gates are open. Something will always come up. And so as routine as we want to make it, there's always something random that comes up. Our speakers blow, the inflatables flooded, stuff like that. And so I wouldn't say I have like a set routine, but there's some repeated things that kind of get me in the vibe to get ready.
That's the fun of it, is that it's not too like monotonous, I guess you could say.
No, and that's why we work in sports. Like we don't want that. We don't want to do the same thing over and over and over again. We want there to be some variability to what we're doing and
Right.
some surprise to what we're doing. That's what keeps it interesting.
Alrighty. So I would love to ask 2 more fun questions before I start wrapping up.
Yeah.
I think something that is really important is what is the go-to snack or drink at Breese Stevens
Of
Field?
course. Yeah. And the food has really evolved over the past couple of years. I think
Mhm.
they're always too. We've got a great culinary team that is willing to try some things. We
Mhm.
kind of push their boundaries too, because we're trying to be a bit different with what we're offering as well. And so we'll do crazy one-offs that we probably wouldn't have the flexibility to do anywhere else. And so it's always fun to kind of see what they whip up. As far as go-to snack, for me, it's always just the cheeseburger there. It's something
Right.
easy I can grab and eat on the go.
Mhm.
As far as drinks, it's probably like a Sprite or a
Classic.
Doc,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, what's it called now? Sierra Mist Twist,
Yes. Uh-huh.
or a Pepsi, and
Uh-huh.
so I'm a big sparkling water guy,
Okay.
so I keep those stocked for me.
Right.
Ready goes to the Clairboons, but I'd say go-to snack is a cheeseburger
Yeah.
for me.
No,
It's just easy.
Oh yeah, no. They're good.
Have you had the tamales?
I haven't. No.
They're good.
Really?
They're
Okay,
so
I'll try 'em.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the cheese curds.
Cheese
feel like
curds
those are
good
pretty
too.
good on the
You
go-tos.
can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of
classic.
different options, but I'd say right now the tamale is my favorite.
Okay.
But the cheeseburger is my go-to.
Okay, sweet.
Just nice and easy.
And then this is another fun question for you. If you could host anyone at Breese Stevens Field, who would be your dream headliner and then why?
Ooh, that's a good question. Right now, I think probably like a Mumford & Sons.
Okay, yeah.
Or
Outdoor
even
venue would be
outdoor
sweet for
venue.
that.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you know Camp at
I've
all?
heard
Kind
of
of
them.
folky.
Uh-huh.
I just think they'd be really cool live. But honestly, right now it'd probably be Mumford & Sons. I
Mhm.
think just seeing them live would be super cool.
Yeah.
One can dream, but
Right.
I don't know if they'd ever come to Breese. But
Mhm.
here's
Hey,
my
well,
shout out to them.
Last
to-
year
to come.
worked Hosier.
That's
and
true.
that
You
was
never
pretty
quite
sweet.
know. That was
that outdoors was
that was a
awesome.
fun one. Were you
Yeah.
working that one?
I was working that
Yeah,
one.
it's a cool one.
Uh-huh.
And that too, like there's some really weird perks with working in sports,
Mhm.
that you get to work and see these acts come through that
You're right.
that you're never gonna get the chance to otherwise. And so no, it's been really cool to be a part of that and to kind of see it be put on. And I think Mumford & Sons would be a really cool one to see
That'd be
live.
pretty awesome.
Yeah. And
Sweet.
on the concert side too, Breese is such a fun, venue for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's small enough where you can really see the stage wherever you're at.
Yeah.
Um,
Sweet.
and so I think, being able to see them there would be really cool.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
All right. And then for listeners who might be curious to learn a little bit more about Forward and sports or just what you do, what's the best way to contact you?
Yeah. Me personally, you can always shoot me an email. It's just Kyler, Kyler at forwardmadisonfc.com. If you're interested in learning more about the club, we're on, I think, pretty much every socials, Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn. Might have a TikTok. That one might be up and down.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we're always pretty active on socials. So stay tuned there.
Awesome. Alrighty. As we close out, I'd like to shout out you, Kyler, and Forward Madison just one more time and to
Thanks.
encourage the listeners to go out to Breese Stevens Field, catch a game soon.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of games left this season, so it'd be great to see everybody there.